You're about to witness the most lethal mixed martial artist in the world in action. If the other man wants to live, he better tap. Good. Here he is in his prime. Admire the precision, the speed of his movements. See how they all fall like flies. Maybe you're thinking, hey, I've seen this man before. Because just like me,
you grew up watching him on TV. He was so cool. I never seen someone fight like that. Run like that.
Get him, man.
Talk like that.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent.
What bank?
To the blood bank.
Whoa. I thought he was only an actor.
But I knew nothing.
He is an expert in everything.
A police officer, acupuncturist, musician, Secret Service agent, UFC guru, mobster, Buddhist god. Or was it all a cover for something much darker, happening on our screens all along? A journey so twisted that it takes us to the very essence of one fundamental question. What is truth?
This is the most difficult thing for me to talk about because I could make something up that would sound better. The truth is just too hard to believe for everybody.
I was born from a mother who was found in a shoebox when she was born.
My mother was American Indian.
Are you of Italian descent?
Yeah, I have some Italian on my mother's side and some French.
My mother was a Mohawk.
I think that my mother's side is probably Irish.
My grandmother surely looks pure Mohawk, and I'm pretty sure she is.
Grandmother in your lineage that is Mongolian?
They look like Russian Mongols, but I don't know what they are, but they're something Asian. Father's a Russian Mongol.
Part of his family are from Texas, so
Let's put it this way, I'm Russian.
I'm a lot more Asian than I am American.
I'm a Russian Mongol, and I'm Russian.
Mongolian, and we don't really know which tribe it is, and all of those people are dead now, so I can't ask them.
Asian, I don't know what the hell I am, but am I allowed to cuss on this show? Or?
I'm a Russian Mongol.
Texas, so a lot more Asian than I am
American.
Where were you born?
Michigan.
Great state, Michigan.
Not too many people out there from Michigan, huh?
But in Detroit, everybody had come out of the Deep South to work in the steel mills. In my neighborhood, it was all Delta people from the Deep South.
You talked a little bit about being exposed to the blues growing up.
Yeah, I mean, I started playing music almost before I started anything.
And I've been playing since I was a baby.
B.B. King was like a father to me. B.B. taught me a lot about life. I was lucky enough to meet and play with most of the great blues legends of America.
I don't know what color I am, but I know one thing. I was the only one that wasn't black that I knew that played exactly like them.
because the essence of blues is story.
Any great director, the first thing they have to learn is how to tell a story. And that's the first thing a blues man have to do, is tell a story.
I was born clairvoyant. I was born a healer. I was born very different. I never, ever thought I was anything special. I just thought I'm just a simple country boy. I'm just a guy.
In an interview with People magazine, Stephen's own mother described him as a frail, puny kid who suffered from asthma.
Stephen, has anybody ever bullied you, like from when you were a kid? Do you have any memories of that happening?
Can you beep what I say if I...
Yes, honey.
I've had an ass whooping once or twice when I was young.
Oh, there you go.
Until one event would change the course of his life.
When I was young, I saw the martial arts being demonstrated at a football halftime.
And during the halftime, they had these Japanese masters come out. And I saw this little old man throwing people around like they were, you know, feathers.
And I looked at my father and I said, Daddy, that's what I was born to do. My dream was to be one of the best martial artists in the world. In America, there are very few dojos in the 50s. Asian masters are usually cooks in hotels and restaurants and stuff like that, and so I sort of lied about my age and got a job washing dishes at a restaurant. One of the cooks there was a guy called Sakamoto Sensei, and he saw that when I was washing the dishes and moving around that I moved very fast, and I said, do you know karate? And he said, yes, I do. Why do you ask? Is there any way you would teach me karate. And he said, yeah. And he started making me do something called the makiwara. And you just punch that makiwara and you learn how to punch for about 2 years. And I kept saying to him, I see you have other students here, I want to fight them. And he said, why don't you learn how to punch before you want to fight? And when you fight, you will fight to destroy. And if they die, that's fine. So I just thought, nobody's going to beat me. And nobody did.
How old were you when you went to Japan?
Probably when I went to live there, I was about 17 years old.
Wow.
I wanted to study the martial arts and the mysticism and healing arts.
And did you have a job there, or were you just there studying, or a little of both?
Started out studying martial arts, acupuncture, herbality, bone manipulation, things like that.
And started studying mostly Aikido.
And there's a reason why I chose Aikido as my art, and I have, because it is, movement that is in harmony with the universe. The founder of Aikido was also a mystic, He developed an art where there was no punching, kicking, blocking, and he believed that he could develop this art in such a way that you could redirect the attack of someone, put them down and pin them without, beating them up or breaking their neck or their bones.
I was able to meet one of my closest friends, Isoyama Sensei.
彼と会ったのは愛木神社で初めて会ったんですけども、その時彼はね、若いにもかかわらず
I grew up in a very, very dangerous area, an area that was all gangsters, yakuza, fighting every day. ああ、よかったんだな。ね。重曹面白かったね、重曹。Hundreds of times we've had to use this in the streets, and that's how you know what works and what doesn't.
But the thing is, Seagal was a legit Aikido specialist. He's good, man. I mean, not good. He's outstanding.
Enters Steven's wife. The first one.
I think he was married to the daughter of one of the main senseis or somebody. So he was like deep in the culture.
Oh yeah, I became the first non-Oriental to teach over there.
Steven teaches at the gym of Miyako's family. They have 2 kids together.
And then for the first couple of years, people did come from all over Japan, as I said, to challenge me. For a non-Oriental to teach them their arts, sure. I mean, that was an outrage to them. And there was one time, this guy says, I would like to sign up for a duel to the death with you. I thought, me, man, this is the guy. This guy gotta be a master. And then I thought, I'm gonna kill him. And I attacked. And I was in the air flying. And I got closer to him, and I realized he was just a drunk. And I'm already committed, and I'm kind of trying to put the brakes on. But I hitting him, and he was in the air, out the door, and tumbling for 20 fucking feet, and then he's unconscious. And my wife thinks I did kill him, and she screamed, "You killed him, you killed him." Those 15 years, or 18 years, or 19 years, whatever it was, those are the greatest years of my life.
But a certain secret American organization had other plans.
Were you drafted by an agency or someone that wanted to take advantage of your fact that you were an American and a martial artist and someone who may have known the country?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Did you or did you not work with the CIA?
Well, it's kind of a personal thing, Dave. It's a little tough to talk about.
You can't talk about it? So that means you were with the CIA.
The kind of stuff that I did, which wasn't for the CIA, was just, I did special security operations and bodyguarding and investigations. Special guided tours in bad areas and stuff like that. And so I had learned how to act then in order to stay alive.
Did you ever kill anybody?
Oh, man.
Did you ever take anybody out? Dim the lights? Face
Lord
down in the
have
grave?
mercy, you are...
I'm just wondering.
You're on my hit list now.
After completing several assignments, Steven convinces his wife to empty her life savings to help him return to America. Little did Steven know, his involvement with the CIA would lead to something much bigger.
In 1985, I came back to America. That's one date that I remember.
I'd come back to America and
killed the guy?
Also teaching the martial arts.
All right.
And
so you came back here as a teacher?
Steven opens a dojo, but also starts working in Hollywood as a fight choreographer.
We're going to do a film called Never Say Never Again, and there was a possibility I was going to do Aikido and what have you, and I got a hold of Steven and we had this training, and I did that, and he broke my wrist.
Wow.
And, oh yeah.
Broken wrist and elbow you can heal, but the broken neck is what you really worry about. One day a guy called Michael Ovitz came over to my dojo, and I found that he's tremendously powerful guy at that time in Hollywood.
And it's really wild because people like Mike Ovitz, who was like the power agent of all of Hollywood in the 80s, you know, Mike got a black belt training with Seagal. Like, he was really serious Aikidoist.
And he said, hey man, I want to introduce you to Terry Semel, who is the head of Warner Brothers Motion Pictures. Terry Semel said, okay, we're going to make you the next great Kung Fu star. And I said, Terry, there's been 5,000 Kung Fu movies. I don't want to make a Kung Fu movie. I want to show the world Aikido.
Nico has a 6th-degree black belt in Aikido. Nico's a cop with a bad attitude.
You found something that was marketable, that wasn't out there, that people really respond to, and they keep responding to it.
I loved Above the Law, that Steven Seagal movie. When he people up at a bar, like, you believed it. He's cracking people over the head with pool cues and breaking their arms.
I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, when have you ever seen this in a movie?
Yeah.
Never seen anything like it. It changed action cinema forever.
It was a huge box office success. It's unprecedented.
Yeah, it's never been done.
Never been done and never been repeated.
And I never was an actor either.
Above the Law was part autobiographical in segments.
Well, I'm not going to get into that, but I will say that I believe it was based on a true story which had to do with the Iran and Contra.
What would people at, say, the agency, if they saw this film, what would they think about it?
You're talking about the
CIA? Or the security agencies right now? Would they look at it and say, well, that's pretty good? Or would they be mad?
You were compared, though, after the first film to Stallone and Schwarzenegger, which I guess I can understand in this town. What's the difference in you and those kind of guys?
Truthfully, I don't know. I don't know Steven. I've only met him once. Jean-Claude's pretty good.
Do you know Van Damme?
No.
You heard of him? I mean, he was like a champion somewhere, and right? I mean...
I think that that's a matter of opinion, that he was a champion anywhere.
Steven Seagal is very boring.
He's what?
Boring. He looks boring.
That menacing, rotten kind of guy image that he projects is
carries over.
Largely acting, is it, or not? I see what you're trying to say.
Carries over in his whole life.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Please say hello to the one, the only, Steven Seagal.
I mean, it's not like I hate Hollywood as much as it's just I love honor, you know, and I love people who can look me in the eye.
Coming soon on video. Once upon a time in 2024.
Patrick, this is your future self.
An unsuspecting man was about to have his finances changed forever.
For the past 2 years, you've been charged for Photoshop on 2 different accounts.
What?
You paid double.
That's hundreds of dollars I've wasted.
You have. I mean, we have.
How did you find out?
Because of the sponsor of today's video.
Rocket Money.
Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better.
All you have to do is input your info. The app safely and securely identifies recurring charges and cancels unwanted subscriptions. You're even able to cancel from within the app with just a couple taps. You following me? That means no more customer support phone calls.
Rocket Money has helped save its customers up to $740 a year.
What else can it do?
Rocket Money will negotiate your bills for you. From internet service to cable and phone bills, all you have to do is upload a photo of your bill and tap a few buttons.
I can't believe it.
You will once you try it.
Okay, how much does it cost?
It's free to get started.
Shut up.
That's rocketmoney.com/Patrick Gavia to get started for free.
Thanks to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video.
Now let's get back to Steven.
At this point, you might wonder, what happened to Steven's wife, Miyako? Well, she said once he was gone, he was gone. On top of running the dojo, I had to raise my children. I don't know how we got by. Sometimes we could only afford cheap brown rice for dinner. Although he's still married to Miyako, Steven gets married again in America to Adrienne LaRussa. While he's married to LaRussa, he gets another actress, Kelly LeBrock, pregnant.
Get into that. How did you all meet?
Yeah, we met in Japan. He did acupuncture on me.
He did acupuncture. Is that what he called it?
Steven's career is flourishing. He partners up with the producer, Julius Nasso, to create Seagal Nasso Productions.
Hi everyone, I'm Jules Nasso. Don't go nowhere.
Nasso was getting his financing from the Gambino family. That's New York Mafia.
And he says, I got this guy's an actor. You mind if I bring him over? He would love to say hello to you. And sure enough, this tall guy with his hair slicked back with a ponytail, Steven Seagal. Said hello to John, said hello to me. Every movie that they did, money was coming in, bringing him chunks of money. And he got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Under Siege was the one that put me on the top.
That was a huge film, wasn't it?
Very successful.
You know what I heard today? That they just got a date for you to do Saturday Night Live to host it?
Apparently.
Are you gonna do that?
Yeah, why not?
Great to be here in New York, and it's great to be opening up Saturday Night Live.
By the way, I was there when he hosted SNL, one of the most famous nightmare, can't re-show that show ever.
You pitched him a sketch that you had written.
Seagal read it, and he said, if I do this sketch, if I do it, I have to beat them up.
Yeah.
When he came in, we wrote it, we did it at read-through, and all of it was them making fun of Steven.
So what about this guy, Steven Seagal? I hear me now and believe me later. Arnold could easily rip Steven Seagal's skinny little arms.
Like, Arnold is stronger than you.
To even compare them to Arnold. Look at me, Franz, I'm laughing.
And we go through it with the cue cards. He reads his lines, very serious, then he just walks off. So I went up to him, I said, Steven, are you okay? And he just didn't look at me. He's looking straight forward. He goes, I just wish Arnold was here so I could kick his ass.
So what does that mean? He didn't understand the sketch?
Well, I told him, I said, they're idiots. Right. Doesn't mean you're weaker than Arnold. These guys just worship Arnold.
I don't want to compare myself to these other stars. They're great and everything like that, but what I do is unique. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't make fun of himself.
So we did the sketch different so that he was, there's only one person stronger than Arnold, and that's Steven Seagal.
But it doesn't work.
Maybe we misjudged you. Yeah, maybe you're not a girly man after all, Mr. Seagal.
He insisted on doing a diatribe about the environment.
Oh, my God.
It's insane. There's like this board of directors, and then he enters the banquet room and starts beating. It's live. And he's beating them up and throwing them around the room, and it goes on for like 8 minutes. It's the longest scene you've ever seen. And then at the very end, he turns to camera and says,
this is what happens when you pollute the planet.
And the audience is mystified.
A lot of other people have cited him and that week as the example of like the worst host and week.
Probably think I'm the biggest jerk who's ever been on the show.
No, that would be Steven Seagal.
Well,
Seagal leans over to me and goes like, why did Lauren say that about me? I was the worst host ever.
You know, he picked you because you're such a big star and you could, kick his ass. Smart.
And Seagal goes, oh. Yeah.
He's a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Rumors start to spread around Steven's behavior behind the scenes.
He was actually hitting the stuntmen like
for real? Yeah. He's known for that.
He's notorious of breaking people's arms, legs, ribs.
There was one of the scenes that he's supposed to throw him through, like the prop, whatever, washroom. He throw him through that, he breaks the toilet, and he grabs his face, real mirror, and smashes his face to the mirror multiple times. rear mirror.
Broke the guy's face, split his face open from cheekbone to jawbone. Wow. I mean, he hurt people, for real.
But all these guys, stunt guys, they sign waivers, right? So
He's scared of him.
Everybody's scared of him, dude.
Tu as parlé de Stallone tout à l'heure. Il raconte que tu te serais engueulé très très fort avec Steven Seagal dans sa villa à Miami.
Non, pas engueulé, il y a une petite poussette.
Is that true he got in a fight with you?
No. It'd be like me squashing an ant.
Un peu fâché, j'ai dit à Steven, je t'attends dehors. Ah oui, parking, voilà. Et vous êtes... Non, ça a pris 2 heures, il est pas venu.
But someone else did get his hands on Steven.
Gene LaBelle is somebody who made his entire career lying about who he beat up.
Steven Seagal, if brains are measured in Cadillacs, he'd be on roller skates.
Gene's a legend. He was a judo champion, and he was like one of the first guys to do mixed martial arts fights.
Tells everybody he beat me up, he choked me out, and the guy is a pathological liar.
You people, you gotta know the difference between BS and legit.
Here's how the story goes. On the set of Out for Justice, Steven tells LaBelle that he can't be choked out because of his Aikido training. LaBelle accepts the challenge.
Gene gets behind Steven and puts him in some kind of mock hold, not a real hold, but a mock hold.
Seagal just sidesteps, full blast, and forearms, you know.
His move was, when you put the rear naked choke on, he hits you in the balls.
LaBelle jumped up like 3 feet in the air.
Gene then grabs Steven,
choked him out instantly, and he shit his pants.
That last part of the story spreads like wildfire, although it allegedly wasn't true.
Seagal did not his pants nor go into convulsions. End of story. I was there. Anybody who says otherwise about this story are liars.
Gene LaBelle never confirmed nor denied it actually happened, which only added fuel to the fire.
And is it true that he did, in the process, soil himself?
Well, if a guy soils himself, you can't criticize him, because if they just had a nice big dinner an hour before, you might have a tendency to do that.
People in Hollywood can make their lives by making up you know, to try to make themselves something that they're not. You can destroy someone's life, their legacy, their reputation, just by making up lies.
Steven gets caught having an affair with the family's nanny. So with his life, career, and reputation in shambles, Steven turns to the only option left: reincarnation.
And he went on this weird thing where he would go up in the mountains and pray. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but...
In 1997, you were recognized as a Tibetan Lama, or a tulku.
The reincarnated embodiment of a revered 17th century Lama or holy man.
Can you tell me more about that and what that meant?
Well, without going into any great detail, I've been a Buddhist since I was a child.
And apparently, if you give enough money to the Dalai Lama's charities, eventually you get something out of it. Right. And so the Dalai Lama made him a deity.
In a sacred ceremony in Tibet, he was given the title Precious Jewel.
Well, I mean, you know, this I really shouldn't say on camera, but...
But he does say it anyway. He claims he's God.
All sentient beings have the Buddha nature within them, which means they are all, you know, sort of God.
That's quite an admission from the famous actor.
He comes to the set after he makes you the Dalai Lama, and he comes now, he's a god. And he comes to the set, I just met with the Dalai Lama, and he, in his wisdom, decided to make me a deity. You know, I feel a difference. I feel like certain things now that never made sense to me make sense to me on a universal level. And his assistant comes up to him and says, "Hey, Steven, your ex-wife called. She can't bring the kids over this weekend. You tell that if she doesn't get those kids over here, I'll break her neck."
When he comes back, Steven decides to quit acting. He's done with Hollywood.
He didn't want to act no more. He quit. He goes somewhere, he works in the sheriff's office, and he's teaching them how to do karate and all these stupid moves and whatever.
I showed my shooting skills and my martial arts skills to, you know, several different SWAT teams, and they were duly impressed. And, you know, at that point, he was so pleased with what I was doing, he asked me to come on to the force and be one of his cops.
He's a cop. Now,
I became a cop to save lives. I've saved many people's lives during Katrina in Louisiana. I was there. And so for me, it was a great honor to be able to serve not only my community or my department, but mankind.
As you can imagine, his production partner, Julius Nassau, wasn't quite pleased with the decision. He plots to extort Steven with the mob's help.
So they sit down with him, threaten him, do all kinds of stupid shit. Steven Seagal, all those karate movies, remember them things? He shit in his pants, I think, twice. He was so scared.
Steven agrees to pay $700,000 on the spot. But here's the thing.
The table was bugged.
By the FBI, which was building a case against the New York Mafia.
So they went to Steven Seagal and told him, we want you to testify. He turned white. He was paralyzed with fear about testifying.
But Steven does end up testifying.
What do those kids bring that blanket, safety blanket, they hold on to it all the time? He held on to his blanket on the stand while he was testifying the whole time. The guy, when he went in the back room, was hysterical, crying. 2 agents had to hug him. Really.
Julius Nassau gets charged with extortion and conspiracy charges. He spends a year in prison, while Steven comes back with a bang.
He's known for his action movies, and now martial arts expert Steven Seagal is reprising one of his roles as a law enforcement officer.
I wanted to do a cop show that was based on real events that I had experienced in my life, seen in my life. I wanted to try to make it the most realistic cop show that I've ever seen.
And every episode begins with him looking in the camera and saying, I don't know if you knew this or not,
But for the past 20 years, I've also been a cop.
and you're like, what did you just say? I thought you've been making shitty movies for the last 20 years. What are you talking about?
Get up on that. Boss, get him, Johnny. Get him. Go to the right. Let me drop. Just tell you where the holes are. Watch this guy. You're good. One false move and any of us could be dead. Just slow down. Where are you at? Where are you at?
All right, heads up. Don't forget he's got a gun.
I got him. Taser. Watch your head. Go to the car.
The show is a hit. Steven now sets his sights on the UFC.
I mean, you've been around the martial arts world for so many years, but it seems like in the last couple months, much more talked about. And
Listen, I've been doing the martial arts since I was a baby. I love the martial arts. They are my life.
If there was one fight you could see happening in 2013, what would it be?
That's really hard to say right now.
How did you and Anderson Silva first come into contact?
Anderson sent me a card saying, teach me your lethal stuff. There's just some unique stuff that I'm teaching Yoda that he wouldn't be learning from anywhere else, I don't. Can you imagine if you get hit with that? I'm dead.
Don't push. Kick.
After Anderson knocked out Vitor Belfort, he said the front kick he won the fight with was taught to him by you.
I spent a lot of hard work teaching Lyoto and Anderson Silva that kick. That kick cannot be stopped. Don't push. I think this is my favorite dancing in the world. Fantastic.
Lawman gets renewed for another season.
130 roosters are safe tonight after the sheriff's department breaks up a cockfighting operation in Levine.
Right now, my team and I are gearing up to take down the suspect wanted for animal cruelty, allegedly raising roosters for cockfighting.
Gavia was convicted of a misdemeanor last year of attending a cockfight and has no history of owning weapons.
Given what we know about this guy, we feel that it's going to be safest to deploy SWAT. We hope to take the suspect and anybody else who's inside the house by surprise.
That they did, including the suspect's 11-month-old puppy, which was apparently right here.
Brace yourself, guys.
We were able to catch our suspect by surprise without anybody getting hurt.
Animal cruelty is one of my pet peeves.
115 birds were euthanized on the spot, and thousands of dollars in damages were made to the property.
Critics slam Seagal and Arpaio, saying they staged the event just for the cameras.
To help actor Steven Seagal's TV show Lawman.
Lovera ends up suing the production, which leads to the show getting canceled. The true nature of his involvement with UFC fighters also comes to the surface.
And a lot of people were saying that you were taking credit for a kick that has been done many, many years ago, and they were showing footage of it, and a lot of people didn't buy it.
How true is that? The front kick, I showed him that.
I'm working hard for this kick for a long time in my life.
Anderson Silva has a wonderful sense of humor, and he thought it would be hilarious if people believed that he was learning all of his martial arts from Steven Seagal.
He was paying those guys. That was a sponsorship, just like any other sponsorship. Steven Seagal ran out of money, and these guys have ran out of compliments. Pretty weird coincidence, don't you agree?
What do you make of Chael's taunting of Anderson?
I think that kind of behavior is an embarrassment to the human race.
It's an embarrassment to the martial arts.
Well, I don't know anything about martial arts, but Steven Seagal would know a damn lot about behavior that's embarrassing to the human race.
The lawman is under fire.
New accusations against action star Steven Seagal.
Is being sued by a woman who claims he used her as a tool.
And several actresses have actually now come forward with allegations. Jennifer McCarthy and also Portia de Rossi.
The last couple of movies, Seagal had his way with young teenage girls in 3 states. There's warrants for him.
I had just turned 16 on this movie, and he said, you know, Katie, I've got girlfriends your age. And I said, isn't that illegal? And he said, they don't seem to mind. And I said, Mom!
2 women have come forward claiming Steven Seagal attacked them.
When I was only 17 years old, I was sexually assaulted by Steven Seagal. I was cast as an extra on Seagal's film On Deadly Ground. I was invited for an audition at the Club Bar in the Peninsula Hotel, Beverly Hills. I received a phone call from Seagal inviting me to attend a rap party at his home. I was taken up to Steven's room by his assistant, who repeated to me multiple times in the elevator, Steven's word is as good as gold. He was standing at the front door and greeted me, and immediately I asked him, where is everyone else? He replied, they had all left. Steven's assistant left me alone with him and his personal security guard. He took my hand and led me into an adjacent room, which appeared to be a bedroom. Steven approached me and said that he would like to act out a romantic scene to get a sense of our chemistry. He closed the door and approached me from behind. He started kissing my neck and taking off my clothes. I was not sexually active, nor had I ever been naked in front of a man before. I froze. I remember him taking off his robe. And the next thing I knew, he was... Steven slipped his hand underneath my bikini top and began pinching and simultaneously slid his hand across. I couldn't move, and I felt as if I was watching my body from above. I felt tears coming down my face, and I looked away from his gaze. My eyes focused on a picture frame. A picture in a frame. It was Kelly LeBrock. I quickly yelled that this audition is over, and I began gathering my things. Steven sat there calmly, as if nothing had happened. He put his hand on the door and asked me if I needed any money. I said no and ran for the door. Steven's security guard stood, blocking the doorway, and only moved when Steven motioned for him to do so. I cried the entire way home.
In terms of your life in America, you've been very much caught up in all the allegations of sexual harassment. You had an allegation against you, and I wonder how you deal with all that. Hello, Steven Seagal.
Take the microphone off you.
Yeah. So he gets in touch with Putin, wants a Russian citizenship. He's over there now.
Mr. Putin presented a Russian passport to the Hollywood action star Steven Seagal.
Has he really moved to Russia?
Yeah, he moved to Russia. I don't know if he moved there or we sent him there and told him not to come back, but...
Basically hiding in Russia over a bunch of charges.
This is what I've heard.
Why else would he be living in Russia right now? I mean, seriously.
I don't know.
Seriously.
Mr. Putin told the actor that he hoped that this would serve as a symbol of what he described as a gradual normalization of relations between Moscow and Washington. The actor has described Mr. Putin as one of the greatest world leaders.
I love Vladimir Putin, and I think he's a wonderful human being, a great world leader, a real man. And I think he loves the martial arts. I was specifically designated to better relations between America and Russia, and nothing could be more difficult right now. And we think that the only way to really create world balance and world power and peace in the world is if America and Russia become brothers and best friends. And that's my mission in life.
Are you enjoying yourself there?
Couldn't enjoy it more.
Does he know I have family from Belarus?
No.
And it's a political culture for us. It's natural, that
so nice.
Кушай здоровье, это очень полезно. It's very good for health.
Хорошо, тогда я дочищу, почищу, да, делать.
Это его любим. Готов.
It is ready.
Готов.
Вот это и есть та свекла. То есть это вот капуста, грибы.
The cabbage, mushrooms.
Сало.
So pork fat.
You're obviously a Hollywood star, but in some of your interviews you were quite critical of the Hollywood culture and you sought to distance yourself from Hollywood, from California in real life.
There are two kinds of actors. The kind of actors that are real thespians that come into Hollywood because they are artists and they love acting and consider it an art and a science and they work at it. That's 3 out of 3 million. And then a lot of the people who come to Hollywood because they need to be adored. And the people who need to be adored, it's a kind of a sickness. And I call Hollywood the cannibal house because most of those people will eat each other to get ahead. They will do anything to get ahead, and they don't realize that if they're lucky, 1 in a million or 1 in 10 million, they'll be on top of the world, and the next minute, no matter who they are, they're going to fall down. Because that's the essence of delusion.
You still fight?
Yes, I do.
You still dangerous?